Hey everybody, welcome back. Uh, got another video. I've been trying to knock out some leather here lately. Like I said, trying to get things done before at least the majority of my projects that uh, I've been commissioned to do. Trying to get the majority of them done before I leave out for Ellaville. I'm shooting this video Thursday night, so a week from today I'm going to be leaving. So I'll be leaving Thursday night, uh, driving through the night, getting to Georgia Friday morning. Um, this is how I did it last year, so I'm just going to do it the same way. Um, I like driving at night. There's nobody on the road. I don't know. It's just nice. You just cruising, listening to music, and you just kind of get into a zone of driving. But anyways, and not to mention, um, I don't know who else out there likes this, but I think it's cool when you're driving and the sun. You start seeing the sun rise. Um, I don't know, something about that's just neat to me for some reason. But I might be in the minority there. But today I wanted to show these are something different that I haven't done yet before. So somebody commissioned me to make these two slips, and they have a pocket clip on the back of them, on both of them. So these are just identical, just different colors. Um, but what the idea was, if I remember right, now I could be getting this wrong. Um, when he goes hunting, he likes to carry a fixed blade on his hip, so um, he also wanted to be able to carry a 110, a buck 110, and instead of having that in a sheath, beside the fixed blade on his hip, hanging on his belt, he wanted something that he could clip on his pocket or on the inside of his pocket. Anyways, uh, yeah. So I left a little opening here just in case you need to kind of pinch, and kind of pull it out for whatever reason. But I've tested it, and you hold it upside down and just give it a little squeeze, and it slides right out. Um, we all know, how heavy. I mean, they're not heavy, but the weight of a 110 and a 112, with all that brass. So yeah, it slides right out as soon as you give it a little pinch. Um, Matter of fact, and I'm sure he probably, if he's watching, I know he contacted me through Instagram. This particular person, but I'm sure he probably watches my videos here on YouTube. But just to kind of show, I'm just gonna. I've done this once because I wanted to make sure that it fit, correctly. But it slides right in. You can tell it's got a little bit of tension in there. It kind of opens up, upside down. It's not falling out, but you give it a little squeeze. Well, now it's not going to do it. uh, give it a little squeeze. Once it breaks in, it should be fine. But it worked good when I did it last night. Anyways, when I finished these up, you'll just have to trust me. But you can see it falls completely down inside the slip, and it's completely covered. I thought about doing the kind of cutout, like I usually do on my slips, but I figured this way, just kind of keep everything kind of covered up and protected, when he's out walking in the woods and whatnot. So, but same goes with this one. I haven't put anything in this one. I just tested it, on the black one. So I'll let him, you know, keep that one nice and fresh. Um, yeah, I'm real happy with how these turned out. I'll try to get a little bit of a closer look here for you. Fix my camera. There we go. But get, of course, got my stamp on there. Did my little cross stitching on the edge. This is all one thread. When I can, I try to keep everything stitched with one piece of thread. Sometimes it's hard to get around without having to, double back over, a stitching that you've already done. But in this case, I just started right here in this corner and worked my way around, up, down, zigzagged, met that same starting spot, and then just kept coming down. So same goes with this one. Everything is just one constant thread, stitch going all the way around. So and like I said, not that it really matters, but in my thought process, if you have a loose thread that's starting somewhere and ending somewhere, that's just an extra, chance of a thread coming undone, in my opinion. So why not just have, one ending spot instead of, multiple starts and stops? And I'm sure it makes sense to everybody else, but like I said, sometimes you can't get around it. Sometimes you have to, stitch something in first and then come in and stitch back over it a little bit to finish. But in this case, what I did is I actually, as you can see, this is a separate panel. So the belt clip is actually riveted to that panel, and then that panel is glued to the slip. Of course, before stitching everything. But it fits, good in the pocket. It sits, of course, the edge of your pocket would be here, and you just got that little bit sticking out. And you all saw the knife was completely covered. And something like this, if anybody is interested, these that would work, for any full size lockback, in this particular size, the 6OT, the 7OT, from Old Timer Charades, the Camillus lockbacks. I can't remember what those are. What is that, a 686 or 868? I don't know, all these numbers, guys. But yeah, any of those full-size lockbacks that are equivalent to a 110, would fit in this particular size slip. Of course, if you wanted something for a smaller, for the 112, buck 112, that is, I could make that as well. Just, same design, just a little shorter. But and these, real quick, I'll get a measurement. So about, just shy, give or take 5 3/4. So and when it comes to these like foldovers, that the most difficult part is leaving enough room. You don't want it to be, when you glue it, you don't want it to be super pinched. You want to leave a little bit of room, because these are fairly, thick knives. For those that, don't have a buck 110. And while we're at it, we're talking about buck 110s. I'll go ahead and show my 110 collection. How about that? This was the first 110 that I bought. And I should have written down all of these years. This was a 2016, I think, something like that. Maybe an 18. But like I said, this was the first buck 110 that I bought. It was one of those Walmart specials. Uh, that I think it was like a Christmas special, Father's Day special, something like that. Uh, Came in a tin, and also came with a little buck 110 lapel pin. So that was pretty cool. Um, for those that don't have a buck 110, I mean they're a little bit large, but they're not too large. I don't have large hands. I mean they may look big with the way the camera's looking at it, but um, I mean they're not large hands at all. But uh, anyways, they fit well in my hand. The 112 fits, even better, and I think that's more just because it has that little copperhead, bolster. Uh, so, and yeah, I know they're not real bolsters, but you know what I'm talking about. Um, but yeah, so really cool knife, and I love that wood, and I don't know the woods either. I know one of them. Um, Here's another 110. This has the drop point. And I don't think, I believe, I'm not sure. I know that they used the anvil. I know that was like a 2000. I think that came out in 2000. They used it. Um, but then I also know they used the anvil on custom shop knives, or exclusives sometimes. And you notice this one doesn't have a nail neck. This is just a blank, uh, not really a blank, but just no nail neck. Um, really cool. I really don't know which I prefer more when it comes to the 110. Um, you have the drop point like this here, um, and then the first one that I showed, you have the clip point. Um, I think when it comes to the 110, I think I like the drop point. I don't know. I'll take either one. I love them either way. But um, so yeah, that's a really cool one there. The drop point. Um, Here's another one here. I believe this was rosewood or something like that, or cherry. I can't remember. I'm sorry, guys. Y'all are screaming at the phones right now, I'm sure. Um, this is the S30V, and this was the Alaskan Guide. You could get these through like Cabela's, Bass Pro. Um, that might have been it. That might have been the only two places you could get these. Um, but yeah, uh, just a really pretty knife. I've never actually carried this one, uh, just because I've got those other two, and I never wanted to really mess up the black blade. It was just more of kind of like a collector's piece. Um, but yeah, I do. I really like this one. So it's a real pretty one. Try to get some better lighting on that handle. And the last one that I'm going to show you guys is one that I had been kind of searching off and on. Um, I would get on eBay and try to find them, and no luck. And sorry, I keep shaking my table, which is shaking my desk. I mean, my camera. But the last one here, this thing has brought a whole new love to the 110 back for me. I I love the 110, but I fell in love with the 112. Um, the 112 just it's got a I guess you'd say a sexier look to it, you know, with the way the copperhead bolster kind of comes around and whatnot. But a little bit shorter blade, you know, it's just the stubbiness of it, I guess, is just attractive to me. But I found this one, uh, and I wasn't even looking for it. It just was one of those recommended sale things. Um, Seller made me an offer after I had put it in my watch list, and I counter offered, and I just, you know, throwing it out there, you know. And the bad thing is when you counter offer, this is something, if you counter offer a seller's offer and they don't accept your counter offer, you lose the original offer that they gave you. So it just goes back to square one. And if you are interested in the knife, you got to end up just, you know, paying their asking price, you know, that it was posted for. So I took a gamble on this one, and after the fact, I probably shouldn't have, but I ended up, they accepted my offer. So um, this is a buck 110, and guys, I don't know what kind of wood this is, but the way that it fades like that, I don't know if somebody altered it, you know, if they sanded it, you know, up here, you know, to fade it, you know, and I don't know, but I love it. And that was what drew me to this knife originally. But then I realized that it was a Boss Heat Treat 5160, which is carbon steel. And like I said, I have been searching for a carbon steel buck, preferably in the 112, but this one came up, and like I said, once I got it in hand, it had never been sharpened before. It was weird. It was sharpened on one side, so it had a grind, you know, an edge grind on one side, and on the other side, it was nothing. It was just completely, you know, no grind at all, you know, for the edge. So I put a fresh, what did I put? 15 degrees on this one. And I just used a little, it's the Work Sharp bench stone. It's that three-sided, you know, 320 grit on one side, 600 on the other, and then it's got a ceramic, you know, plate. But I've got a couple different guides for it. So yeah, 15 degrees on this one, and it got screaming sharp, which, you know, is not unusual for buck. But like I said, it just it brought me, I mean, brought just a whole new love back for the 110 for me. And I have had this on my hip since I got it. I've done y'all saw it in a short that I posted, pictures on Instagram. But yeah, it's been on my hip all week since I got this. And actually, I got it last week, so it's been on there longer than a week. But yeah, I just freaking love this thing. And just like I said, it's just the way that fade is, it's just really cool. And I shined up the bolsters, but they're starting to kind of get a little tingy now, you know, dingy, tingy. What did I say? Tingy. Anyways, but yeah, that's about it, guys. I just wanted to show off, especially that one. And yeah, I usually don't like to say show off, but I did. I wanted to show this one off. But also just wanted to show some ideas for pocket carries for your larger knives. For those that want to carry a large knife but don't like to carry it on the hip, you know, in a sheath on your belt, I got you. So if this interests you, hit me up. Like I said, we can do something like this, you know, for any of the 110 size, you know, 5-inch lockbacks, or we can do it for the, you know, the 110, I mean the 112s, apologize. But yeah, pretty much anything. And we can do it for smaller too, you know, if you wanted something like this for, you know, an actual pocket knife, you know, a slip joint or something like that, we could do that. So, but yeah, I think that's about it. Maybe next time I'll show some 112s. We'll see. But I am trying to show, you know, show some more of my collection, especially, you know, since, you know, if I sell any, you know, it's kind of nice to have documentation of what you had if you ever wanted to go back and pick it up again. So Ellaville's in just over a week. Hope to see a bunch of y'all there, and a bunch of the familiar faces from last year. So I appreciate y'all stopping by. Hope you liked the video, and enjoy your Friday and your weekend. I'll catch you next time. Peace.